My dad has several stories from his teens and 20s that my mom calls his hooligan days. Now, most of these stories were usually about him doing things that he probably shouldn't have been doing, but whenever he tells one of these stories, I always get a really good laugh out of them. Now, one day, my dad's friend got a job cleaning up the Roswell Park. My dad and his other friends decided to mess with this guy. So they went out and bought the biggest bottle of dish soap they could possibly find. But as they were paying for it, a police officer was standing next to him and gave him some funny looks about it. Later on that night, they went to the fountain in the center of Roswell Park. They cut off the top of the bottle and threw it on top of the fountain, out of sight of anyone underneath it. Now the Jets started shooting suds, and as they were admiring their work, they heard police sirens and got into their truck. But it wouldn't crank. So they pushed it down the hill, tried to start it, but they still had no luck with the truck. Well, they called the friend they were playing the prank on because he was actually working at a towing company, and it was his last night there before he switched to the cleaning job. When he got to the park and he heard the sirens, he knew my dad and his other friends were up to something, but didn't know what. As it turns out, the sirens were for a house fire that were close to the park, but had nothing to do with my dad at all. Well, the next day, my dad's friend went to his new job, and the first thing he had to do was clean up the fountain. But what he didn't see was the bottle at the very top. So after he cleaned up everything and turned the water back on, the whole thing filled with suds all over again. Well, then he climbed to the top of the fountain and found the bottle, and he knew why my dad and his other friends had been in such a rush to leave the park the night before.